the record button. We're recording. Okay, well, welcome everybody. And it's nice to have all of you here. And we're on our way to Chile. Well, we're actually in Chile right now. For those of you that were with us when we went to Argentina, we have Loli Marino back from Orianda. She specializes in Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. And it was really delightful. I know after we did Argentina, many people sent comments that they didn't even think about going to Argentina, and now it's on their bucket list. So I'm very happy to have my dear friend who we share a birthday. We found this out. You know? So my dear friend Loli Marino, and Loli, take us to Chile. I've seen some of these. I haven't been to Chile, and this is very exciting for me. And I've been looking at Loli's pictures, so I'm really excited. So
Thank you, Sandy, for the invitation. And hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm from Argentina. I live in Buenos Aires, but as Sandy told you, we specialize in Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay, and it is super easy to combine both countries, Argentina and Chile. I will introduce you to this wonderful country through our presentation. Give me a second.
I just want, while Loli's setting that up, I just want to say it's Carnival. So Loli was on vacation all weekend in Carnival and came back special to do this. So thank you, Loli. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. This is, you know, that the situation is the same everywhere, but happily the tourism is open in Argentina, but just for locals, for national tourism. So, are you seeing the screen?
Yeah, but not the full screen. We're still seeing the slides to the left.
Okay, right now?
That's worse.
Okay, sorry. Just give me a second.
There you go, perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
And we'll move you here. So this is another picture of Torres del Paine, that is the most iconic destination in Chile. Just to introduce you to this wonderful country that is our neighbor. Chile is a very long country, really narrow. It has just some details to get you immersed in this destination. It has 4,300 kilometers long and only 150 kilometer width. The capital of this country is Santiago, which is super easy to go from Santiago to the vineyards. That is the main interest today. It has a population of 17 million inhabitants. The main industry in Chile is copper, salmon, wood, agriculture, wines, and tourism. And as in Argentina, the main highlight of Chile is landscape, nature, the contrast of amazing nature. The main regions are the north with the Atacama Desert as the main interest, then all this area, Violet or Lila, Santiago with all the central valleys. As I mentioned, it is super easy to move from Santiago to ski in winter or to vineyard or to the beach. It is, if you compare Santiago to Buenos Aires, we have to do at least 1,200 kilometers to go to any interest destination from Buenos Aires, from Santiago. This is the main highlight, that in 1 hour you are on the Pacific Ocean to enjoy the beach, or you are in 50 minutes just in a wonderful winery, or you are in 50 minutes also in winter and you can just go skiing. Then the northern of Patagonia, which is beautiful with the Lake District and the Emerald Rivers, and for outdoor activities is the destination. And then all the green area and the green region, which is the most visited destination in Chile, which is the Torres del Paine, one of the most important spots in the world for trekking. So for trekking lovers, this is the destination, and together with Atacama, both are the most iconic destination. And I'm forgetting the mythical or the enigmatic Easter Island, which is also a wonderful destination. So I will go quickly to the main destination that we will visit tonight, Santiago and all the main or the highlights that you can do while in Santiago. Then Atacama, Elqui Valley, which is also in the north of Chile, the northern Patagonia, Torres del Paine, Antarctica, and Easter Island. So starting with Santiago, a lovely city, it is the most upcoming city in Latin America. It is a destination to enjoy for 1 or 2 days. It is a lovely city. I think that the best that it has is the mountains. So you are in a very big city, but at the same time you have the mountains. So it is like you have like a little nature while in the city. Santiago is, as I mentioned at the beginning, for one day at the beginning or at the end, it is like in 1 or 2 days, you can cover all the main highlights of Santiago, as the main square, the markets, it has an amazing gastronomy, Chile. So for foodies and for wine lovers, it is like a beautiful country. And in Santiago, the main highlight behind, of course, the landmark of the main square and the main buildings, but the market, we don't have that market in Buenos Aires. For foodies, we can take you to the market and to try delicious sandwiches, empanadas, the machas that are like clams, which are delicious. The pisco sour that we fight a lot with Peru, who developed the pisco sour, if Chile or Peru. So the market is the main highlight, and we can organize for a cooking class and start with our chef in the market and then go to the chef house to prepare a delicious meal. From Santiago, it is in 1 hour you can get to Valparaíso, which is a UNESCO city, and it's a lovely port city. With the tiny hills, it is like a very nice for street art and delicious cuisine. And one of the other highlights on the way to Valparaíso is that you are visiting all the vineyards and the main wineries that are on the way to the Pacific Ocean, which is the main producer, this winery of the Sauvignon and Chardonnay. So the Chile, the main wine or the landmark is the Carmener, it's like our Malbec, it's a red wine, but they are also very famous for the quality of the Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. And we can organize, for example, from Santiago, just a day in Valparaíso, visit the city in half a day, and then enjoy lunch in a very nice winery.
So Valparaiso, just let me stop for a second, Loli.
Yes.
It's kind of like San Francisco. It's very hilly.
Yes.
And they have these very colorful homes.
Yes.
You know, like we have Victorians in San Francisco. So it's very charming to spend a little time.
Yes, and it's very picturesque. It's a very picturesque and very tiny city. And pretty near to Valparaiso, there are the main beaches of Santiago, of Chile. So going immersed in the wine road, the main wine region in Chile is the Colchagua Valley, which is 2.5 hours from Santiago. If you want to go to the main wine road in Argentina from Buenos Aires, it's 1,200 kilometers to get to Mendoza. So you need a flight or 13 hours car drive. From Santiago to Valparaíso, to the wineries on the Pacific Ocean, in 1 hour, and to get to Colchagua Valley, which is the main producer of the Carmener, you are in 2.5 hours. There are like many interesting wineries, as the winery that you will taste, which is pretty near Colchagua, a little south, further south, sorry. And I would like to introduce you to one of my favorite wineries, which is Clos de Apalta. It has a very impactful landscape and a very interesting building. The winery is like how you say, Sandy? Like
spiral or
yes,
nautilus?
Yes,
or nautilus?
Yes. It's like a 4th floor, but going south. I'm not how you say, like
going down.
Yes, by the this escalator take you to discover all the winery. The owner of the Clos de Apalta is the same owner of the Grand Marnier. They have it is a very prestigious winery, and they also have a lodge. The lodge is La Postol Residence. It has only 4 houses perched in the mountains, and it is it's also a relais chateau. The winery itself is a very nice experience, and you can also stay there. And from La Postol, or from Clos de Palta is the winery, and La Postol Residence is the lodge, which is a relais chateau. You can just spend there 2 or 3 days and move to the other wineries. This is the houses, the tiny 4 houses that this hotels has. And the other winery that I really, really love is Vic, which is in the Millahue Valley. Vic, Chile. They are famous also in Uruguay, in Jose Ignacio. They have fantastic hotels in Jose Ignacio in Uruguay, and they have this amazing winery in the Millahue Valley. The Millahue Valley is pretty close to the Colchagua Valley. Just in 40 minutes you are here. And they are also producer of the Carmenere and many other grapes. It has a fantastic hotel and winery. The winery and the hotels have been inspired in the Guggenheim Museum. It is like a tiny Guggenheim just in the middle of the Millahue Valley, in the mountains. The hotel is very impressive, glasses houses, just seven glasses houses perched in the mountains, and then they have other rooms in the main buildings. It is fantastic to maybe to end the trip in Chile. When you visit, you have already visited Atacama and Torres del Paine, and why not Northern Patagonia. You can spend your last day in Chile in Vic, Chile, which is a very, very nice property.
Then you don't want to go home, Loli, after that.
No. No, and the food is delicious. All wineries also offer the cooking classes. Montes Winery is also a very prestigious winery, pretty, all the Lurton winery of the Finca Arcona that you will taste today is also a very prestigious winery. But in Monte, they have a fantastic wine per lunch. The chef and the owner is the same owner is in the vines in Argentina, which is our prestigious Francis Malman. That is a very acclaimed local chef in Argentina, with also presence in Montes winery, pretty close to Vic and to Clos La Postol and Finca Araucano. So going to Atacama, as together with Paine, are the most important destination in Chile. I love Atacama, at least for 3 or 4 days, but you can spend here a week, and I promise that you won't get back because it is a lovely, lovely landscape for everybody. And you have a fantastic hotels that include all activities and meal, and you can adapt the itinerary according to your interest. The landscape are very impressive, and they offer a fantastic outdoor lunches, fantastic hotels. Imagine with this volcano, the volcano is Lincancabur, just rest and relax by the swimming pool with such beautiful landscape. The geysers, Atacama is famous for its geysers and also for the Moon Valley. So it is a fantastic destination for everybody. Families, honeymooners, adventure seekers. So for everybody, Atacama is a must while in Chile. And also the main highlight of Atacama, it is that it has the clearest sky on earth. So it is fantastic that all the hotels, and also we can organize a private tour with an astronomic tour at night, which is a really, really interesting experience.
Wow, so that would be fabulous.
Yes, it is a fabulous destination. Moving just a little further south from Atacama is Elqui Valley. Elqui Valley is also very interesting place for having or fighting with Atacama, which destination has the clearest sky. The main highlight, the other highlight of Elqui Valley is, besides the clear sky, is that it is pretty near to the pisco sour is produced pretty near the Elqui Valley. So you can visit different factories, and also it is like a very nice destination for whales watching. And Casa Moshe, it's a fantastic hotel for everybody, for families, is very nice. So moving further south, we are getting to northern Patagonia. It is fantastic for family vacations and also for active travelers and honeymooners. The northern Patagonia in Chile, as the same as our northern Patagonia, is very, very big. I will show you just 4 highlights of this fantastic destination. The main is Chiloé Island. You have to fly from Santiago to Puerto Montt, and from Puerto Montt you can move to this destination that I will mention. The first one is Chiloé Island, which is a very nice destination for wildlife lovers and also for cultural lovers. You can watch whales, dolphins, penguins. Tierra Chiloé is a fantastic hotels that include everything, meals, like most of the hotels in Chile and the best hotels in Chile include all meals and activities. So it is super easy to enjoy and just adapt the itinerary according to your interest. It is like very interesting to visit the different fisherman villages, the churches. You can visit in northern Patagonia, Pucón. So you can fly combine very easy from Chiloé Island to Pucón, or you can fly from Santiago to Temuco, and in 1 hour you are in Pucón. Why Pucón is famous? Mainly for the Villarrica volcano and the lakes. It is like a very nice destination for fly fishing lovers, for kayaking, for rafting, for trekking. So for outdoor activities, this is like a very nice spot. Moving again a little south, just pretty near Puerto Montt, is Puerto Varas. It is like one of the highlights of the northern Patagonia in Chile. Also very nice for just rafting, kayaking, trekking, mountain biking, with the volcanoes and the lakes, the blue lakes. So it is like a very easy destination to combine with the other one. And another spot that I would like to highlight in northern Patagonia is Mari Mari. What is the highlight of this tiny hotel that offered just like 10 houses facing or overlooking directly the Ocean Pacific? Like the main highlight is that they offer everything in private service. It's a very high-end hotel and a destination in itself, just overlooking the Pacific Ocean, and they offer, it is like a fantastic destination for wild lover and for also outdoors activities. So you can combine and move very like easy from Chiloé Island to Mari Mari, and why not to Puerto Varas or to Vira Vira. So arriving at southern Patagonia, the main flagship of southern Patagonia is Paine. Torres del Paine is the most iconic destination in Chile. It is very impressive. It is one of the most important hiking spots in the world. In Argentina, we have El Chaltén, which is our capital of trekking in Argentina. And in Chile, they have Torres del Paine. It is super easy, and most of our travelers combine Torres del Paine with El Calafate in Argentina to visit the most famous glacier, the Perito Moreno, and then some trekking lovers or fans, they combine both Torres del Paine and El Chaltén in Argentina. Torres del Paine has breathtaking landscape, as the tower, the Torres del Paine means Tower of Paine, and they have like a destination that also has fantastic hotels for like all levels, like a very high-end hotels, like a 4-star hotels, very comfortable. And then you can also do the most famous trekking circuits that perhaps you have heard or have listened about, the W circuit or the O circuit. That it is like the W is like means like a W circuit, like join the towers of Paine, the French Valley, and the Great Glacier. As we have the Perito Moreno in Chile, is very famous, the Great Glacier, and it is like one of the spots while in Torres del Paine, and you can also walk on the ice in this glacier, the Great Glacier. So you can, if you are a fan and you don't have any, and it's what we talked last week with Sandy. It is like it's not a destination just for trekking lovers. We have like many families with small children that go to Chile, that go to Paine, and all hotels can adapt their activities according to the to their interest or to the physical level that you have. So it is like for everybody. If you are like a very fan, you can do like a 8-hour trekking or the W circuit. And if you want to visit Paine in a more relaxing way, you can stay, for example, in Aguasi or in Tierra Patagonia, which has been recognized as the most beautiful hotel in South America. Tierra Patagonia, and it has like, I will show you, well, the Horn of Paine, which is like a very impressive landscape. And you can do different trekkings, visiting in a boat ride, and you can also walk this glacier, the Great Glacier, and see this image that just to transport you there. This is the spa from Tierra Patagonia. That
when I was in Argentina, Puerto Marino, we actually went the trekking on the glacier. It is so fun. It's a little
yes.
scary in spots, but it was really fun. And so I would recommend that highly. And the other thing I just want to jump in and say before Loli goes on,
Yes.
Torre del Paine is a very desirous destination. It needs to be booked way in advance if you want to get the accommodation you want, because it's very desirable, and you know,
yes,
at least a year in advance, if not more.
Yes, and it's not so easy to get availability in the main hotels. So as Sandy mentioned, it is like the best is to book with a year in advance. And it is not so easy, the same, to get availability to do the main circuit, the W and the O circuit, that both require like a many months to book in advance. And moving from Paine to another destination that we love, that is the enigmatic Easter Island, a very interesting destination, very mythical, with the Rapa Nui culture. It is in Chile, but belongs to Chile, of course, but you have to take a 5.5 hours flight to move from Chile, from Santiago to Easter Island. So it is not so easy to get there, but it's like an amazing island to be discovered and to enjoy the culture, which is like a very interested to be discovered, which is completely different, because they are like they belong to Chile, but they feel like in Polynese, because they are pretty close to on the other side, and the history of it's like Machu Picchu on one side. It is like a very impressive and very like mythical to understand this culture and how these moais were built there. It is like it has two amazing hotels, the Explora Easter Island and Hangaroa hotels. Both are fantastic hotels, and both include the same all meals and activities. And it is a destination, if you want to discover Easter Island, I recommend no less than 3 or 4 nights, because you have like a very long flight to get there. So the day that you arrive and the return are like a missed day, and then it is worth spending there 3 full days. It is fantastic. You can also, of course, discover the island by walk or by mountain bike or with your guide. It is like a very enigmatic place. And the last one, but not the less important, is the Antarctica. As I also mentioned in our presentation in Argentina, because we have cruises to the cruises to Antarctica that leave from Argentina, from Ushuaia, or you can leave from Punta Arenas. Antarctica is another chapter. It is like a once in a lifetime trip, and you can experience Antarctica in many different ways, depending if you are a very active traveler or you prefer just to contact nature, such impressive nature. Of course, that walking on ice is on a glacier is very impactful and a very nice experience, but just overlooking and to get to Antarctica is like a mind-blowing experience. And depending on how active you are, would recommend which will be the best cruise for you, because there are like a very high-end cruises that are like a more relaxing experience, but then perhaps you want just to do kayaking or to do trekking, or why not sleep not on board on your cruise. You can you want to sleep just on the ice in Antarctica, just with your how you say bolsa de dormir.
Your sleeping bag?
Yes, exactly. So which is like out of this world. So it is, if you have the opportunity to visit Antarctica, it's once in a lifetime experience. It is a very expensive trip, but it's like a very worth doing it.
I would recommend, if this is on your bucket list, to do it sooner than later, because with global warming, even Antarctica is starting to melt. And another thing that I'll add, if for people who tend to have issues with seasickness, because the passage from the tip of South America is rough, there are cruises that you can fly over and you meet the ship on the other side. So you don't have to deal with the roughness. So depending on, you know, what kind of sailor you are or you aren't, that's no excuse not to go to Antarctica, because you can fly right over and miss all of that if that's an issue for you.
Yes, you can discover in a very express way with just 5 days. And in this case, you fly both ways, or you can just take a cruise of at least 9 days, nine nights, to like 16 nights in the
right, and then you can go to the Falkland Islands and add those in.
Yes,
the other thing is there's some very new ships that are being built that are just coming out that supposedly have amazing ways to cut through that water that doesn't give you such a rough ride over. So they have done a lot to make access to Antarctica much more comfortable.
Exactly. And Sandy, what I would like also to mention is about the situation in Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. In Argentina and Chile, borders have never been open. So with this season, we couldn't receive any traveler from abroad. In the case of Chile, they have the borders are open, but you have to do a quarantine currently. So it is the same, mostly the same. But we are just working for the next season of for our next summer, and we are like working a lot and receiving a lot of requests for Chile, from Argentina, and also for Uruguay, for festive, for November and for December, and December and January. And we have like a very flexible rates. We have we always negotiate with all hotels. They don't require any upfront deposit. Of those hotels that require an upfront deposit, for example, for festive season that are the most demanding and the busiest week of the year, of course that some hotels require an upfront deposit, but we negotiate that in case that the borders won't open, or who knows, the vaccine, we really hope that it works. Of course, that everybody hopes that it works, but if in case of anything happens, the hotel commit to make the refund to all our travelers. So
that's really important.
yes, that's very important because we are very flexible, and we try not to ask and not to require any upfront deposit. But in the case of those hotels that like really need to guarantee the reservation for you, they commit to make a refund in case something happen, or perhaps you don't want to travel, or you don't dare to travel yet, so they can make a refund. So this is very important.
Yeah, and remember that all the studies have said that putting the deposit down on your trip is the happiest time, because it's always the thing to look forward to, and we all need something to look forward to. So if you think about that, you can put your deposit down, and should we have unforeseen circumstances, you get your money back. It's kind of a win-win situation. And I'll throw in one more plug for Antarctica. Obviously, you can tell Antarctica's on my bucket list. And 2020 and most likely 2021 are not, most of them are going to be canceled. So, I mean, all those people that would have gone in 2020 and 2021 are going to be looking at 2022 and 2023. So
yes,
it's going to be a very busy thing. So if it's on your bucket list and it's something you want to do, I would, and again, a lot of companies have very easy terms and conditions. So it's a time to make a deposit and look to the future. We're doing
yes, Sandy, and we negotiate with everybody, and it's just to get the best for our client. It's like those who commit and pay the upfront deposit, well, that just to avoid any risk in case that they I don't know, won't be able to travel in the near future.
Great.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, Loli,
that's all.
Loli, this is fantastic. I'm ready. I'm ready. There was a question in the before I open it up. Yeah, Jo Beth wanted to know, I think it was in Atacama, was it, Jo Beth? You can unmic. You know, what is the altitude?
Yeah, it said it was like the highest desert in the world. So
no, it is not so high. It's not like you didn't have any issue with the height in Atacama. It's not the same as in Peru, that you have at least to stay 1 or 2 days just to that your body, yes, to be ready. In Atacama, of course, that perhaps not the first day you will do just a very demanding hiking, but it's not an issue, the height in Atacama, and the same in Salta City and all in northern of Argentina. It's no more than 4,000 meters, but not in all Atacama. In the only spot that perhaps you need to be acclimate is to visit the geysers. That you have to leave very early in the morning, and it's like a quite height. So perhaps like go to the geysers, you just to be in Atacama at least today, and not to do like because it's the main highlight. Visit the geysers and visit the Moon Valley. But we recommend not to do the geysers on the first day in Atacama. Perhaps you can leave it to the third day, but it's not an issue, not at all the height.
That's great. That's great. Questions for Loli about this? Anything? Jo Beth.
Yeah, I had one more question. So on the glacier walkings, I know that in Argentina, they have, I think you can't be, if you are 65 and older, they won't let you walk on the glaciers. Is that the same in Chile?
Yes, it is the same in Chile.
Well, I'm glad I did it when I wasn't 65.
Yeah, it is the same for the Great Glacier. But you can do the boat ride. Of course, that is different experience, but it's like the same as in Argentina.
Great. Any other questions other than when can we go? I mean, that looks like a fabulous wine experience too. I mean, to stay in one of those gorgeous hotels and just do the wine country. It's kind of like being in in our Napa Valley, Sonoma wine country, you know, you pluck yourself there and then just keep going from place to place. And those were some stunning places to stay, especially the one that had the 10 little houses along the beach. That also looked gorgeous with the private beach. And I mean, it was just all beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, it
All
is.
right. Any other questions here for Loli? All right. Loli,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. This was
Good
really
Yes.
fabulous.
Enjoy the wine tasting.
I have one more. How
Oh,
long?
yes,
trip?
Ira.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to Argentina. I think we spent 3 weeks plus. We didn't make it to Chile, although the people we met who landed in Santiago had seen cars burning and various other.
It was during the riots.
It was during riots. But how long a trip to Chile
Would you recommend?
would you recommend?
At least I would say 10 nights, because 10 or 12 nights, because if you want just visiting 3 destinations, Atacama, definitely. Perhaps Paine, of course that Paine is for everybody, but the most destination is 4 days in Paine, 3 days at least in Atacama, and then 3 days just for Santiago or Northern Patagonia, or just like a couple of days in the vineyards. And perhaps you can miss not Santiago, because if you stay, for example, in the vineyards, as you are just in 1 or 2 hours from Santiago, and all flights to America leave very late in the at night, we prefer to spend the last 2 nights in the vineyards, and the last day on the way to the airport, just to cover all the main highlights in Santiago. But I would say at least 10 or 12 nights.
Ira, you can stretch it to a little bit more than 2 weeks and get and see
Yeah, of
everything.
course.
I mean, you don't want to be changing hotels in these gorgeous places every 2 or 3 nights. Give it a little.
We look at 3 weeks. I mean, what you just
Right.
described, 10 days, we're too old to.
Right, exactly. 3 weeks would
Yeah.
be fabulous.
Yes.
You
And
might
also
even be
you-
able to include Easter Island if you did that.
Yes, of course. And you can include, for example, Argentina, because we are very used to combine both destinations. For example, we are very used to do Santiago, Atacama, and then like Mendoza and Buenos Aires. Like many of our clients combine Mendoza with the Atacama and or Paine and Calafate, which are super easy to move from one side to the other one.
Yeah, we loved El Calafate. We were there for several nights.
Yeah.
We were in Argentina for 3 weeks.
Wow,
So kind of
a
our-
lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Loli, how about the altitude in southern Patagonia if you're out trekking?
No, it's well the same. That is like not very. You are not in Aconcagua. It's like you don't. Of course, that if you want to do the W, you need like a very good condition, because you will walk from like 8 to 10 hours per day, depending. Not all days 8 to 10 hours, but the height is not very high. You won't exceed exceed the 1,000 meters above sea level. But you will walk like from 6 to 10 hours a day. So you need like a very good conditions if you want to do a trekking. But of course you can do a boat ride, or just like visit some part in a 4x4 vehicles, or why not fly fishing in Torres del Paine, that we have many clients that go to these hotels and prefer to do fly fishing. That the like all the hotels offer at least more than 30 different programs, from 2 hours to 8 or 10 hours. So you don't have to worry about that. You have to be, I'm very lazy, to be honest. And I don't want to.
See why I love her.
Yes, and I'm of course that I have to do it because I have to know to recommend, but for me it's an effort. And I prefer just, for example, Tierra Patagonia is a fantastic hotel, because they have like a very nice, like a different activities for different levels. And I'm just like I prefer to walk a half a day and then enjoy the hotels and the landscape, because it's amazing. And just to be with a glass of wine in the spa, looking the towers of Paine, for me, it's enough. It just like do different, you can adapt the program according to your interest. And it's
Fabulous.
super easy traveling all around Chile, much easier than in Argentina, because they have like a very high-end hotels that offer everything. And of course, we help to design the best program for you, but we support a lot in hotels. That it's very different than in Argentina because like a very few hotels include everything.
Yeah.
But in Chile have like a very important and very varied wide of hotels for everybody.
Loli, this was fabulous. Any more questions? Like I say, we're having such a good time. I'm looking at the time. We
Okay.
want to get to Chelsea and we want to taste this delicious wine from Chile. So Loli, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, and stay on, and maybe after we're done, if there's some more
Yes.
questions about
Yes.
travel, we can pick
I
that
need to learn more about wines.
Exactly, exactly. So it looks like Warren didn't make it, which we kind of expected, but thank goodness we have Chelsea. So Chelsea, let us taste
Hello.
these delicious wines from Chile.
Yeah.
I mean, the vineyards looked amazing, and the hotels and staying at those wineries. I mean, this is fabulous.
The places that Loli just showed have me very excited to return to Chile.
Oh,
So,
good.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that. Cheers, everybody.
Hey,
Good
cheers,
evening
Chelsea.
to you
Thank
all.
you.
Yeah, so the first, we've got two wines here. And actually, I'm a little bit, the second, what is the red wine that you have?
I don't have it out here. Let me
Does
go.
somebody have the bottle in front of them? The
Um,
Grand Araucano. Okay, so is that a Cabernet Sauvignon?
I'm
Okay,
gonna-
perfect. That's what it was supposed to be, but I saw something about a Carmenere and I thought, so anyways, let's start with the white here. This is one of Francois Lurton's estates. The Lurtons are a Bordeaux-based family out of France, and basically the sons of the initial Lurton have set out around the world to find various terroirs that can grow world-class wines that aren't at Bordeaux and Burgundy prices. And what he's discovered in Chile is that it really is an ideal wine growing climate. This first one is a 100% Sauvignon Blanc using Bordeaux clones from his family. And this is based in Colchagua, in a sub-region of Colchagua called the Lolo Valley. Kind of like laughing out loud for the LOLs there. And this area, he planted the first vines there. So and the other thing about Chile is there's no phylloxera, so it's very easy to grow food, wine, grapes in a very minimal intervention. You don't need to use a lot of pesticides because there aren't certain bugs that are pre-existing there. So it's his own roots and his own grapes, and this is grown in an area with, so humo blanco actually means white smoke, and this is referring to the fog that comes in and cools off these grapes every day. So there's a lot of sunlight and warmth, so you get nice ripeness with these grapes, but they do get cooled down. And what that does is it gives a natural acidity to the wine. And the acidity, if everybody wants to take a drink here, if you kind of feel after you drink, you'll notice your mouth waters a little bit, kind of just sweats. There's a little bit of spit coming out. That's the acidity. And one of the things, so these wines are organically grown and they're biodynamically grown. And biodynamics might sound like a really witchy woo-woo thing, but if you break it down, it might start to make sense to you. And biodynamics came around from Rudolf Steiner in around the 1900s. Farmers were noticing that their soil, their animals, their plants were really losing nutrients. And there was an increase in pesticide use and herbicide use. And so this was a method to grow and to farm in harmony with nature. And the main principles are to treat the farm as a living organism, to vivify the soil, and the third is the relation with the cosmos. And this is where people's heads start to turn. And the idea here is that you think about the, the stars, but you're thinking about the main star, which is our sun. This is where all of the life cycle of everything we grow comes from. Then you have the moon, our satellite. And if you think about what that does to the tide in the ocean, it pulls the water forward, the water retreats. And the same thing is happening to the water inside the vines, inside the ground. And so if you're looking at when are we going to trim excess greenage, when are we going to recompost everything, it starts to make a bit more sense when you think about it in that whole holistic way. And after 3 years of Francois Lurton doing biodynamics in this Chilean estate, he noticed that he didn't have to adjust the acidity. The wines were far more aromatic, and he didn't have to do as much to make the wine fresh and have this beautiful nose. And it also helps the wines to age longer. So does anybody have any kind of notes with any questions or anything that they particularly notice? I get a lot of kind of green fruit and even some vegetal, kind of like an asparagus, but I find it quite pleasant. I feel like with his wines, they have a bit of a French fingerprint on them in the winemaking, but they certainly do speak to the Chilean terroir. Also, so Chile is a really long country. We've got the Andes Mountains here and the Pacific Ocean here. So it's kind of a similar climate that you'll have in Sonoma or Carneros. You have this Pacific influence that brushes up against the Andes Mountains, and you get that cool fog that comes in and cools everything down, which is what you want. You want things to get ripe, and then you want them to go cool again. So that helps get the nice fruitiness in a wine and also maintain the acidity. So next we can move, we can move on to the cab if that's
Yes.
good for you. Pretty, very big cab. And then cab is a noble variety that's coming from Bordeaux, from the Medoc. And I get a lot of kind of black currants, a little bit of thyme and black pepper. It's powerful, but the tannins are soft. The tannins also, if you put this wine in your mouth, let it get everywhere. And the kind of dryness that you get on your gums and your tongue, those are the tannins. So if you're ever curious, what is that referring to? That's what it is. And everybody's muted. So if you're talking to me, I don't hear you.
Please feel free to unmute and make a comment about the wine or ask Chelsea a question as we're going through. This is our, kind of conversation. So please feel free to do that. Some people, Hallie, you made a wonderful dish, and so did Lori and David and Ginger. And how does these wines pair with what you made? Did anybody make the ceviches?
So Lori got a ceviche that's I should take a picture of it. It's really spicy and spicy tuna. Yes, mostly tuna and vegetables with like a really red sauce, because you think of ceviche as being sort of more clear or coconut or lime, and it was really, really good with the Sauv Blanc. And then I made this just like wicked decadent, kill your heart bechamel lasagna with homemade lasagna noodles. Yes, you did. And we paired it with the cab, because I've often paired it with Cama Special Selection, and it was beautiful with the Cabernet. It was because it was so rich. I mean, you think it's a white bechamel sauce. It's got Parma ham and fontina cheese and porcini mushrooms and truffle.
Oh, Ginger, you're killing us.
Oh yeah, she killed us too. I think
When's your
David, did you have 3
gallbladder
helpings?
Do you have
David maybe had 3 helpings. Good thing he's kind of a skinny guy.
Ginger, you have to put that recipe in the Facebook group, I think.
I will be-
So Sandy,
Yes.
Sandy, I cheated and went to Pacific Catch and got their trio of ceviches. And
The
it went
smart
beautifully
girl.
with the Sauvignon Blanc.
Smart girl.
So
I
Sandy, we
like that.
haven't eaten, we haven't tried the cassula yet.
You haven't
So
tried your stew yet,
We
Hallie?
will be, we will.
Oh, Hallie, you're muted.
Okay, so we're getting an echo because we're at opposite ends of the table
Oh,
here.
oh, oh.
But we'll try the cassula, and then if it's good, I'll post the recipe.
Okay, but post the pictures anyway, because I'm sure the pictures are pretty.
One more thing to touch on, I realized I forgot to mention, the Sauvignon Blanc is fermented. All of these grapes are hand-picked and fermented, and the winery is really quite small. There's maybe 4 people working in the vineyard. There's some donkeys and chickens and goats running around because that's part of the biodynamic process. You need to have the entire, the whole thing is one living organism, and they're all working together in harmony. So these grapes are both handpicked, and the white wine is done in all stainless. There is some lees contact, some yeast that the juice will sit on, and that adds a little bit more texture to the wine. It gives it a little bit of a mouthfeel, but there's no malolactic fermentation, which is what oftentimes Chardonnay goes through, which gives it more of a lactic, a buttery yogurt kind of quality. This one does not see that. It's in stainless, crisper style. And then the Cabernet Sauvignon does go through malolactic fermentation, which doesn't give it a milky quality. But this wine is aged in French oak barrels for 18 months in a combination of new oak and used oak. So it won't be too overpowering in its kind of toasted vanilla-y characters, and just kind of soften the wine and give it a little bit more of a elegance and a little more length, and kind of round it out a bit.
Well, Warren's just joining us. So
Cheers, Warren.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That's all right. Chelsea did fabulous. Chelsea was
Of course, Chelsea.
wonderful.
Chelsea's fabulous. I'd much rather listen to Chelsea than me.
But she's prettier than you, Warren.
Well, she sure is. But you know what I need? I need a drink. And you know what's really cool is I don't have to waste any time. I can just go like so. Oh, by the way, did you know I got this video last year from Wine Spectator, how to open a screw cap. I kid you not.
Are you kidding?
They said you hold the
Warren,
bottle.
you have to post that in the Facebook group. You have to post it.
If I can find it, you hold the bottle at a 45-degree angle. No, first, what you do is you place the bottle on the table. Right? You grab the tip, you twist it just until you hear the crack. Then you put it at a 45-degree angle. Gently remove the cork, the capsule, and then pour it in the glass.
Phew, now I know how to do it. I was so worried.
The phrase "up your own ass" was invented for that.
I mean, I think the opening the champagne bottle, I took your advice and that was great afterwards, but this tops it all, Warren. You have to find that video and put it in Facebook.
What do people think of the wine?
Well, Judy, you said with the ceviches you got.
Yes, I thought the Sauvignon Blanc goes well with the ceviche, but frankly, I'm one of those people like you where whites are not my favorite, but I really enjoyed a lot of the whites that Warren's chosen, and I thought this one was an okay Sauvignon Blanc, but not particularly special.
Okay. And then Ginger
If
made
the
a
temperature was
lasagna that she said was fabulous. Tell Warren about it, Ginger.
So Warren, it's a white lasagna with a bechamel sauce and fontina cheese and a little bit of Parma ham and porcini mushrooms and truffle oil.
Oh, wow.
handmade. I did handmade lasagna noodles, so they're really super, super thin. So I got like 4 layers in. But that really creamy richness worked really well with the cap.
No, that's a great red wine, isn't it? I mean, that's like a $95 Napa cab for what, $40 or something, Chelsea?
Exactly. That's the thing. When you go to these areas, you can really capitalize on a different workforce, different cost of land, and still have this expertise of the Lurton family. You know, they first started this project in 1992, so by now they've certainly got a hang on this terroir and how best to create a wine that's most enjoyable for us.
But it's amazing. Chelsea's whole. I'm sorry.
I'm a real fan of biodynamically farmed wines. I mean, Russell Graham at Bonnie Doon was doing that a long time ago, and some friends of mine that did Syrah up outside of Healdsburg did the biodynamic farming, and I think it makes a big difference. It's different than organic. It's like
totally
it's one
different
with the land.
Exactly, and this is organic and biodynamic.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. And Hallie made a Chilean stew, which she hasn't tasted yet, but it sounds really interesting. And she's going to let us know if it tastes good, but she's going to post pictures anyway.
I did put a picture in the
Oh,
chat,
good.
so assuming you can see it.
Let me see. Okay. I downloaded it. I don't know where it went. Oops.
I guess when you join late, they don't show the history of the chat. Oh, Loli's here. Hi. So, you know, this is interesting because Chelsea's whole portfolio, I think this is the 3rd time that we've used wines from Chelsea. I think the very first we did Quinta de la Rosa, if you guys remember that, from Portugal. And we did Zuccardi with Julia, remember that? And now we're doing Araucania. Oh, we did the Chocolina too, from northern Spain.
Right.
Remember that slightly fizzy summer one we did? That was so great.
Right.
What else you got, Chelsea?
Where do you want to go?
Well, I guess we're going to New Zealand next week, right, Sandy?
That's right. That's right. That's going to be very exciting. And then that'll be the end. And then we have to think about where we go next.
We'll have to find
and
some.
when we go next.
Right.
Let's just go back to France. Find more
You know, why don't you put, you know, ideas in the Facebook group about where
how
you'd
about
like
this?
to go. What?
Yeah, look at Stan. Stan's getting apoplectic over
All
there.
right.
Ooh. I was going to suggest the Rhone Valley. You can start at the north with the Syrahs and go down toward the south.
All right, two thumbs up from Ginger. All right.
All right, show of hands. Who wants to do a series that includes a Lala?
Oh.
What?
Lalas, Lalandon,
Yeah, well, wait a minute. I think people, well, Warren,
Lalas. They call them the Lala.
Wait, Warren, you should tell them how much it costs before you get
$425.
No problem. A case for everybody.
A bottle, $425 a bottle.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do a Lala.
And the problem is, this is 2016, and it would be infanticide to drink it. So we'd have to get ones from the 90s, which are about $1,500 a bottle now. So hands up, who wants a case?
We can do other coat rotis that are
No, we will. No, I'm being facetious,
right,
of course.
exactly,
That was for a client who wanted to give us
we need a lookalike.
But
as
no,
good as.
There are wonderful wines from Côte Rôtie that aren't $400 a bottle. They're just not on the hill of Hermitage. Right. There are wonderful wines from the Southern Rhone as well. We can do Châteauneuf-du-Pape. We can, and then of course, Cornas. Cornas is a great region because Cornas is just south of Côte Rôtie, and the grapes don't know that someone put a line in the sand somewhere. So you can get Hermitage for Cornas prices. There's some very, very, very good ones. Saint Côme, a winery called Saint Côme, COSME, produces, Chelsea's nodding, she knows it, the same distributor that Chelsea goes through. It's the phenomenal wines. Now, look, these wines are a little more dear from a cost standpoint than Chilean Sauvignon Blanc or South African Chenin Blanc, but again, it's worth it. It's the wines are just out of this world, out of this world.
All right. Well, we have
Warren,
Valley.
Warren, have you tried wines from Uruguay?
You know, I have had a couple of wines from Uruguay, and they're fantastic. At least the ones I've had, very, very good. There weren't very many of them that I had. It's like trying to find wine from Patagonia. You have to crawl naked over broken glass to find them.
Oh, wine from Patagonia.
No, Uruguay,
How about South Africa?
I think Chelsea, doesn't Weinberg carry some wines from Uruguay? I'm not sure. So I know someone does. I had them at a tasting somewhere. I'd have to look into it. But Uruguay, at least the wines I've had are very good. What happened was there's an Uruguayan billionaire made his money doing whatever, and he's putting a significant amount of his billions into developing the entire Uruguayan wine industry. He wants to make it on a par in time with Chile and Argentina. And he's invested a huge amount of money, and he also owns a lot of wineries in Europe as well as here in California. And at least the wines I've had from there, Loli, were fantastic. But again, you'd expect that the ones that make it here are going to be good.
Yes, and they are quite new, but they are increasing a lot. And there are like many wineries that are with terrific wines.
So I have a couple of questions for you. How do you celebrate Carnival in a normal year? How are you celebrating this year? And what do you drink during Carnival?
For
Loli,
me?
that's for you. That's for you, Loli.
Yeah.
Yes, in Carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you usually celebrate Carnival? And then
many different ways. The most impactful for me is from northern of Argentina, which is a very traditional carnival that is like a very Asian, it is related to a very Asian culture that they celebrate the burial and the unburial and the burial of the devil. And it has to do with the Pachamama, the god of earth. So everybody use like a very colorful costume, but it has nothing to do with the carnival from Rio de Janeiro, from Brazil. It is like everybody use that custom, go down from the mountains, and it is like everything is about joy and like a party. This year, of course, that the maximum of people to celebrate, because it's more like a religious, it's like about no more than 20 people. But last year it was like about 10,000 people for that party, to different meetings from a maximum of 20 people. Completely different, but we enjoy in some way.
Thanks.
Sandy?
Anyone else?
So Warren, I have to ask, this is Jeff. The email that Sandy sent out said that it was going to be a Carmenere, but it turned out to be apparently a Sauv Blanc or Sauvignon.
No, that's me. I lied to Sandy. When we first put it together, I was talking to Chelsea, and there was a particular Carmenere that she had given me as a sample that I really fell in love with. And I emailed that to Sandy because we were under the deadline for getting something out. So it was going to be the Sauvignon Blanc and the Carmenere. But then I called Chelsea up and I said, well, let's do the Carmenere. And she told me it was $95 a bottle.
Oh. Okay.
So that's why we went to. So actually, I don't know if you spoke about it, Chelsea, but you know, the white wine we have, this Humo Blanco, is sort of a much more accessible wine cost wise. They make a red as well. The Humo Blanco was also was a Pinot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was very good. So those are very modest, and then they go up in tiers. So the one we had tonight was sort of mid tier, you know, of wines, and then there are two more higher elevated quality wines from Araucano, and but you know, we have a budget, and so we wine fell into that category of about a $35-40 red, about a $15-20 wine. So that was the reason why the Carmenere was not included. But if you like Carmenere and you want to explore that, it's a phenomenal wine. It's recognized as one of the better wines you can buy in Chile. I think Araucano and Errázuriz and others are at the real pinnacle of.
Do you know most of these people on here?
On those
No,
high.
we've been.
If you
don't know
want to
them
try one, let
personally.
me know. We can figure out a way to get you a bottle, but it's not, you know, it's not your Tuesday night Chianti.
By the way, I disagree with the comment about the Sauvignon Blanc. To me, it has everything you want from a Sauvignon Blanc without a lot of the stuff you don't want. And I think it's excellent. I don't know what it costs. I'm sure it's not too expensive, but I think it's delicious.
I think it's like $15 to $18 or something.
Yeah, and this is the thing about wine. It's personal. It's really
exactly
what you like, what's in your glass. You know, something maybe $200 and you taste it and you go, that's just not for me.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's my favorite thing about it. I'm happy you like it, and I'm not offended in the least if somebody doesn't, because it's really just a personal taste kind of thing, and you just have to drink things and see what you like and see what you don't. So I appreciate the feedback, whichever way it goes.
Yeah, I'd rather drink this than a lot of Sancerres I've had. So good.
Well, cheers to that.
Well, that's great. Then we need to get you some d'Antan from Sancerre, from Brochard. But that's a $65 Sancerre, but it is
okay. I can do.
But I think these wines are really good. But I think you've heard me say this before, and I think Chelsea nailed it on the head. There is like, you know, so long as we need to be confident in knowing what we like, and no one should ever be embarrassed to say I like this or I don't like that. I've had people feeling mortified because they didn't like Chateau Petrus, and it's like, well, thank God you don't like it, because it's $5,000 a bottle. What if you loved it? It'll be like a cocaine habit. But you know, it's like, you've heard me say this before. It's like the comedian said, he was talking to his grandfather, and his grandfather says, grandson, it's a good thing we don't all like the same stuff, because if we all like the same thing, everyone would be after your grandmother.
That's what I always say when people say they don't want to live in San Francisco. It's already too crowded, so thanks.
That's okay. Go somewhere else. They'll be happy to have you in Utah. I don't think we have to worry about San Francisco becoming a ghost town anytime soon.
Did we lose Sandy here?
We sure did.
I think that we missed her.
I think we did.
And she has
Do you have any other questions?
So we're out of control.
We're into the social hour part of the call now.
Okay, cool.
The host has gone to bed.
That's one way to get people to leave. My mom used to say that. Oh, I better go to bed so you guys can go home.
Yes, I think that we missed her.
Well, Dorothy, speaking of the host, you know, Dorothy Parker of the Algonquin Roundtable, she used to say when she was talking about martinis, she said, after 2 martinis, I'm on top of the table, and after 3, I'm under the host.
Oh my God. Oh, I heard that one.
Okay, I gotta tell you all, we're getting to be really good friends. I've been seeing a lot of new familiar phrases, and I do agree. I really like the Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay,
I like it. I'm used to drinking New Zealand Sauvignon. I really like it very much. So thanks for all of the input.
No,
Well,
I
the
thought
New
it
Good,
Zealand
I'm so happy
Sauvignon
to hear
Blancs
that.
can be very grassy, you know.
Yeah.
And what I like about this wine is it's got that Sauvignon Blanc characteristic of firmness and body, but it's also got great floral notes to it that that I think are lovely, like
Yeah,
peach blossom.
very
And
nice.
stuff.
It's a nice surprise.
But you know,
And,
so
I love
you're right, Patty, because what I think is great is like we're on series 6 now with Sandy, and I think Patty and some others, you know, I've been off on a tangent doing these with other colleagues of Sandy across the country. I mean, I must have done 40 of these since COVID started, and we're on to series 6, which means this is our 17th time together, and next week will be 18. And it is a lot. It is nice to have met a whole bunch of new people, and some of you I've seen when I've knocked on your door with wine, and others not. But I think what will be really cool is maybe at some point in the late second or early third quarter is we gather to do something in person.
Come to my house for paella.
Oh.
We'll get the
I'm there.
paella plan that'll serve 26 people.
All right, party in Ginger's backyard.
Yep.
and you're in San Francisco?
San Leandro.
We'll be there. We're coming. We're from Florida. We'll go. We'll be there.
It's easy to get there from San Francisco, but
Yeah, we'll do
I
a big we'll do a big French club dinner.
I really like the white. I thought it had a lot of kind of pineapple stuff in it, as opposed to that grassy New Zealand Sauv Blanc. But I can't wait for the New Zealand, because Warren, I got 2 white wines, right?
No, you have, yes, correct. No, you have a Pinot Noir,
Pinot
Pinot Noir and a Riesling.
And they're both older.
Yes, so the
So I think
Riesling
it's
is
gonna
a
be
2012.
Very interesting.
So Riesling should be aged. Riesling is for me, Riesling's the greatest white grape of all, you know, all the way from Spätzleser, Auslese, Beer and Auslet, all the way to Trockenbeer and Auslese, you know, those very cloyingly sweet wines. Riesling's amazing. I love the petroleum notes in it. I think we did a Riesling from the Alta Adige or something at one point.
Was it?
No, we did German. We did when we did Germany. We did some Rieslings.
Either the Christmas market or the Austrian.
Yeah, we did. That's right. We did the Maximum Grünhaus Absberg Vineyard Riesling, which is fantastic. But these wines from Osler in New Zealand are fantastic. The Pinot Noir, the Caroline's Pinot Noir is a single vineyard Pinot Noir that's amazing. And we have Jim, I'm going to say Jim Osler, but I don't think so. But we have the owner and winemaker of Osler joining us next week to walk us through his story, his winery, and his wines.
By the way,
it's really interesting. I don't know if you know, the Osler wines are fantastic.
For your next series, we haven't been to Sicily, have we?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
No, we did.
We did? Okay, I forgot already.
I was talking to Sandy. We can revisit a couple of areas because, you know, when you talk about Italy, for example, okay, we did 6 wines in Italy. I mean, Italy's got like 3,000 varietals or something.
I was gonna say that's 10%.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I'm up for revisiting areas because
you know, we could go to areas of Italy that we didn't do before. So we could Campania, for example, or Umbria, or you know, some of those areas. We can do the wines from there's some wines from south of Piemonte there around Chichen Itza and all of that. Those beautiful areas, the Veneto, Lake Como. You think about beautiful places you want to go and visit. I just did an event last night with Angela, who's a friend of Sandy's, and we did the Veneto, and we had a single vineyard Val d'Albiadene DOCG Prosecco,
nice,
fantastic. Yeah. And we had a wonderful wine from Friuli. That was just really, no, I'm sorry. We did a Veneto. We did Friuli with you guys last week. We did a Massafiti Bianco from Suavia in Suave, a beautiful Tempranillo, No, not Tempranillo. Oh, what the hell was it? I can't remember.
Unforgettable?
Arganega, and the wines are out of this world. So I mean, there are 1,000 wines we could do in Italy. We could do this every day for the next 5 years and not run out of wines in Italy.
Warren, how about a Falangina?
Oh, that Campania. So we can
I
do
love
those volcanic wines. Falangina, Greco de Tufo. Those wines are absolutely fantastic. That's why Campania would be great. And you know, and for those of you, and for those of you who are going through Lent now and want something at the end of it for Easter, a great wine you can do the Lacrima Christi from down there. The Blood of Christ is a beautiful wine made from the Piedroso grape or Aglianico, and just Piedroso, and the wines are absolutely fantastic. Actually, you drink the Lacrima Christi and Bon Grève l'Enfant Jésus, Baby Jesus. Those are the wines to drink at Easter if you're you know. I'm a nice Jewish boy and I drink those wines at Easter too.
So Warren, I think that Italy, Spain, and France warrant more in-depth coverage.
All right.
Well, we can do that. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. My computer had a major crash, a terrible system error. I'm like, really, I don't know what's going to happen when I talk to my tech person, but sorry that I lost you, but at least I found on the cell phone, and I got a new cell phone. So Zoom wasn't loaded on it. Thank goodness I still had my old one. And it's, even though it's not a phone, it's still connected to Wi-Fi. So I'm back. So I caught on some of this with Italy.
Well, Sandy, we've been drinking this great wine for an hour, and without your guidance, we got completely out of control. So
I love it. I love it. You're supposed to.
Yeah, one of the things you talked about, Sandy, is how we're all making new friends and how great it would be to get together in person one of these days.
Well, absolutely. And I think also when it's safe to travel, we should do a wine trip together. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
Oh,
Yes,
that would be
definitely.
First up is Ginger's.
Ginger.
He's got lots of wine.
Lee, you're going to come. You and Luis are going to come from Miami. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we
I
already
think
said
everybody
yes.
brings a bottle of wine and I'll make paella.
All
She's
right.
gonna make
Wow.
paella. We'll be there. We're
Yeah,
from
and-
Miami. You can make the
All right.
paella. Okay.
Yeah, and Sandy, about your computer problems, I can help. I'm paid by the glass.
Right. The more glasses, the less helpful you'll be.
Actually, the more glasses, it's even better.
Oh, good. All right, Luis. No problem.
Lauren, thank you so much. I loved your presentation. I love Chile, so it was great.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
I haven't
Loli.
been here in
Thank
many
you.
years.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. You're very welcome.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
Keep in touch.
Cheers.
Take care. Stay healthy. See you
Take
next
care.
week.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
next week.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Sandy. Where are
Just see. Bye-bye.
you? Loli, we'll see you again, I hope.
See you. Bye-bye. It was a
Bye.
pleasure. Bye, Sandy. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Sandy.
Hi, Doc, it's Sandy. And I was on my computer hosting a Zoom meeting and I got this, all of a sudden, this blue screen and it said it was Windows. I mean, I was trying to write it down quickly. It said a system thread exception was not handled. And it gave me, I guess, an error code, capital I, V as in Victor, R, S, 64, SYS, like system. So, I mean, I don't know whether I can turn it back on or not, or what happened, or, so I don't want to do anything or touch anything. So hopefully you can give me a call. This is not what I needed. Anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Sorry to call you late, but this just happened. Thank you. 415-931-1945.